you ready?
Yes.
All right. Hi, my name is Maria. I'm with the Orangevale History Project. I'm here with Ken, our videographer, and Chris, our other interview volunteer. And we're here to interview Naida Effinger of Orangevale. And her son is here as well, Michael.
Are you
Naida?
taking a picture now? Okay, it hasn't broken.
Mrs. Effinger, could you tell me what year you were born?
I was born in 1925.
Okay.
I'm an old lady.
And where were you born?
I was born in Higbee, Missouri.
And your parents were from Higbee?
My father's name was James Weaver Stevenson, and my mother was Lottie Stevenson, or Lottie Doherty.
Okay, and did they grow up in Higbee?
My father did. My mother, I think her father traveled around. The family traveled around a lot.
Okay.
So I don't think she was born in Higbee.
What brought your family to Orangevale?
What?
What brought your family here to Orangevale?
Well, the thing was, my father was a very sick man. He had, the doctor had diagnosed him as having chronic
Bronchitis.
what is it, chronic?
Bronchitis.
Yeah, bronchitis. And that was caused because he was in World War I, and he was gassed, and as a result, that's what happened. And so the doctor told him that's what he had, and that he could not help him in any way. And the only thing was that he would die, that was sure, because the climate there in Missouri is very cold in the wintertime, and that he would die from that. And so he suggested he find a warmer climate to live, and so we came to Orangevale. The reason we came to Orangevale was that my mother had a brother that lived in Orangevale, and so we came to visit him and stay with him and try to set up a home and a lifestyle here. And so that was what we did. My father, it was kind of a short notice, a quick notice that you had to leave town, you know. And so as a result, my dad found a fella that would help him drive, because my father was ill and he couldn't really do everything. So a fella he found and offered him the job to come with us and to help drive and do whatever he could mechanically when something went wrong with the car. So anyway, we came to Orangevale.
How old were you then when you came to Orangevale?
Well, I was born, this was in 1938.
Thank you. And do you have brothers and sisters?
No, I don't have any brothers or sisters.
So you were an only child?
I'm an only child.
So was your father then able to work with his disability?
What?
Was your father able to work?
Well, eventually, yes. We came to Orangevale and sort of stayed with my uncle and aunt, and my uncle was working at a ranch, a turkey ranch over in Fair Oaks. And so as the summer went on, it required more help. And so my uncle got my dad a job there, and so he worked there for the rest of the summer.
Excuse me, I have a frog in my throat. Sorry. So he worked there that summer, and did he work during the winter then?
He did odd jobs during the winter, and also he did odd jobs during the summer here when he, if they needed help in the different areas, and he worked in the fruit, doing the fruit jobs, that is. Mainly, see, back then we were not mechanized. We were still with the horse and buggy, so to speak. And the farmers here had to use horses to take care of their equipment to make it work, and so to plow and all that sort of thing. And as a result, my father was always called on when they had a problem because he knew how to do harnesses and all that sort of thing, and how to do the equipment for that sort of thing. And so he was always called on to help on people's ranches around here, and also other things that happen in people's homes and lives. So that was that. Eventually, they built McClellan Field, and so he went to work there and worked all of his life, or the rest of his life there.
I see.
But that was years later.
I see. And did your mother work outside of the home?
She did anything, and of course, there was a depression on, and everything, and so my mother and my father both worked, and my mother did household work, and she even took care of a couple here in Orangevale for a length of time, and until they passed on. And so that was kind of the way it was until, of course, the war broke out. And then, of course, they both went to work at McClellan Field. My father went to work long before the war before the war came about, but anyway, that's what they did.
What street was your house on?
It was on Walnut Avenue.
And so you arrived in Orangevale when you were about 13 years old.
I was in 1938.
Right, so you were about 13?
Yeah, I had, when we moved to Orangevale, and we were staying with my aunt and uncle, my aunt says, well, there's a little girl that lives down the street about your age. You'll have to meet her. And so I did, and I met her. And it so happened we were the same age, and had graduated from the 8th grade, and no, not the 8th grade, the 6th grade at our respective schools. And so we became friends and remained that way all of our lives.
What's her name?
My name is Naida.
No, your friend's name.
Oh, her name is Gloria. And Odlin was her maiden name.
Odlin?
Odlin. And she's kin to Jean Kelly. I think she's an aunt to Jean Kelly.
Okay.
From the Orangevale.
Yes. We interviewed Jean. Her interview's on there.
Oh.
So Gloria was your best friend?
Uh-huh.
Now, where did you, you said you graduated from 6th grade. Where was that? What school?
Orangevale.
Orangevale?
Uh-huh.
And then after Orangevale, where did you go to school?
Well, it was still Orangevale. And we graduated from Orangevale School from the 8th grade.
Okay.
And then from the 8th grade, we graduated from San Juan High School.
Mm-hmm.
And then we went to Sacramento College and graduated from there.
Both of you?
Uh-huh.
And what did you study at the college?
But mine was general. I don't know. I really don't know what she majored in.
What did you major in?
Huh?
What did you major in?
Well, English.
English. And after college then, you were almost a grown-up. So let's go back to your childhood days. How did you spend your time when you were a kid? Did you have a lot of playtime?
Well, a lot of ways. Gloria and I, of course, were real good friends. And there were other girls that lived in the area. We had some friends across the street, and there was a girl my age. And so we, I don't know, we were just kids. Mm-hmm. And with me, I worked in the fruit whenever possible, mm-hmm. because at that time it was a depression, and so I worked in the fruit, and in all of them.
You worked for everybody? You worked for all of the fruit sheds?
Well, no, I worked. That is, I cut pears, cut peaches, packed plums.
So, and for what company was this? Was it?
It was just the local people that lived here.
Okay. Do you remember any of their names? The people you worked for?
Well, one was Mr. Wachowski. He was the one I was working for mainly.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yes. All right. So, so it sounds like you spent quite a bit of your childhood processing fruit.
My childhood doing what?
Processing fruit.
Oh, well, I worked whenever I could. Mm-hmm. You know, fruit comes and goes, yes. And so that's what I did. And another person over here was Sareeram, Sareeram. He was Hindu.
Oh, yes.
And Wachowski, and I think there was a Mr. Bell that I did a lot of Ammon work for.
And what was his name?
Bell. I'm not sure. It started with a B. I'm sure of that, but I'm not sure.
Are there any teachers that you remember fondly?
Oh, yes. Mrs. Cable, Sadie Cable. She taught everybody in Orangevale.
I believe it. I think we should have a statue to Mrs. Cable because I think she taught everybody and helped everybody. We had a woman who said she helped the Wu brothers.
Who?
The Wu brothers. The
Wu.
Yes. Because they had come and didn't speak English, and so she really worked with them. And she was, I think, eventually was superintendent of the district of the school. She was superintendent of the school district, I think, eventually.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah. But I know she taught every kid in Orangevale, and that goes back years. not me. I mean, you know.
Yes, yes, we have so many recollections of Mrs. Cable, which is lovely.
And of course, she was the mother of Vernon Cable.
Yes, yes.
As, up at Orangevale.
Mm-hmm. And did you know Mary Chambers?
Who?
Mary Chambers. She lived on Cherry Avenue, and she went to Orangevale. She would be a couple of years behind you, though.
Oh, I don't know.
Do you remember that name? Because she talked very fondly about Mrs. Cable and the Wu boys learning English.
Yeah, she was a wonderful person, a born teacher.
Are there any other teachers that you remember?
Yes, there was Miss Miss Purcell. Her name is Miss Purcell, and she was from Folsom, and her mother was the person that up at the prison. They lived up at the prison. Her mother was, I don't know, she was something up at the prison, and she's also, and they're both real close friends of Pat Zanetta. I don't know.
Yes.
I really don't know. I don't remember. I did at one time know, but Miss Purcell taught at the Orangevale Grammar School, and but I didn't go to her because she was. I was too old to be in her class, so. She was a very nice person too.
Are there any school friends other than your good friend Gloria? Are there other people that you remember going through the grades with?
Well, yes, there was Joyce Heath. She lived across the street from us, and that's how we got acquainted, and so we were very good friends up until she died, which she married and went to work over in Hawaii, and so we were always good friends.
That's lovely. Went to Hawaii, how nice. What about things going on in Orangevale? Do you remember any special events?
Oh, yes. There was, every year there was the, I forget now what it was called. But anyway, it was where the people in Orangevale went out and cleaned up their streets and their culverts and all of those kinds of things. And they always had I think it was sponsored by the Grange, and they called it the I don't know, the Improvement Club, I think it was, the Orangevale Improvement Club or something like that. And I remember at that time we had the big clubhouse. Unfortunately, it burned.
We've heard. We've heard about that.
And as a result, it was very well equipped. I think it was originally built by the Grange, but I don't know for sure. Because it seems that, to me, that they had the Grange, and they also had a club called the Improvement Club of Orangevale, and both of them kind of interlapped, and they did the same things, you know. And so I don't know the difference there, but I know they always set aside a weekend in the spring where they went out, everybody that lived here, they went out as, like the guys would go out with their picks and shovels and everything, and they would clean up the gutters and all that sort of thing, and try to make the place look a nice, clean, decent place. And then the women, the clubhouse had a big kitchen there, and they used to have, the women, of course, would cook big turkeys and whatever, and then the guys would come in at noontime and eat a meal. They got a free meal for cleaning up the street, and so they would pick up that. Anyway, my mother and I both helped serve the food with, making it a great day for everybody concerned. And it was a nice time. And you got to meet new people and everything, so it was great.
It sounds wonderful. I guess we have a big day of giving where people go out. Is that what it's called?
Well, I think
Big Day of Service, that's right.
That was last week.
Right, they have Big Day of Service where people go out and do things, but I don't know, yours sounds like more fun.
I think the Women's Club has different parking lots set aside where they sell stuff, you know, and I don't know.
Were you ever a member of the Orangevale Women's Club?
Yes.
You were?
Uh-huh.
But that was when you were older?
That was before I became paralyzed.
Oh, okay. And did that happen when you were an adult? Because I know we're going to do a different story.
No, I have been living here, well, it'll be, I guess, going on 5 years, and I think in September it'll be 5 years. And then prior to that, I fell, and then I became paralyzed, and I was in the hospital for many months because I had a broken pelvic bone. So I don't know. I've got to look it up and see how long it's been, and how long I was, how long ago it was.
When you were a child, where did your parents shop? Where did they get their groceries?
Oh yeah. Well, when we lived here in Orangevale, we got it at Orangevale. As I remember, I guess along where Walmart is now, there was kind of open fields, and it was kind of along the side of the road, and there was a small grocery store there. And this goes back to 1930 something.
Are you talking about the public market?
It's in where the public market eventually came.
Oh, okay.
This is before the public market.
Oh.
Because this goes back to 1930. When we came here when I was in 1938.
Okay, so I know that the public market became the Capri.
Well, this is
Before that. Okay. All right, and that's where you did your grocery
But
shopping?
it was a small place, and a small grocery store, and because I know my mother was always, seemed like she was always sending my dad to go to the store. She did a lot of cooking and a lot of making of jams and jellies and stuff, and we were always running out of fruit jars and fruit lids and all of that, and lids and all the stuff that goes with it. And she was always sending my dad to get this stuff. And as I remember, there was a small grocery. This is before the Woos now. There was a small place along the side, sort of along the side of the road, like really, before, I would say halfway between. I can't think straight. Between where the Calder's house and the corner of Hazel and Greenback Lane. Well, there's a little place in there, probably what today is where the parking area is, somewhere in there.
Okay.
And that is where there was a small store, and that's where we went to do our shopping. And like I said, this was years ago. And before the Woos. It was later that the Woos came in.
So, are there any other stores that you remember in Orangevale?
Yes, there was right across from the clubhouse. There was a store there, and they sold gasoline, and they were the main store in Orangevale that had anything to do with a variety of selling of different things that you could get there that you couldn't get at this other little store that was on the side of the road there. And I'm trying to think of their names. They were in business at the time. they sold just about everything there. They had a service station there. And so, and on Saturday night, well, we had the Orangevale dances at the Orangevale clubhouse. And of course, long about midnight, everybody is hungry. And so we went across the street. It's a wonder somebody didn't get hit, but because we went across the street to get, and we get hot dogs or whatever they had there. And they sold sodas and that also. And so we bought all that kind of stuff there.
Do you think that was Hancock gas station?
No, that's,
Afterwards?
no, this is before.
Oh, wow, okay. Okay,
This
wow.
is back when the Orangevale Clubhouse was
Right.
in existence.
Right.
And I forget now when the clubhouse burned,
So-
or rather when that, yeah.
That unfortunate occurrence. So, the dances, was there live music or was it?
Yeah, it was live music. Uh-huh.
What kind
I
of-
don't know, they had an orchestra every week. I know I used to go, and I don't remember too much about who played there, but I do know it was a live orchestra, and they had different orchestras, and some of the orchestras were better than the others. And but it was known as the Orangevale, Saturday night at the Orangevale Clubhouse.
And was there admission? Did you have to pay admission to go in?
Sometimes you did and sometimes you didn't.
Different orchestras. Going back to the Women's Club, I forgot, that's another story. That's when you're a grown-up. I forgot about that. We're gonna talk about that one later. So, any other establishments in Orangevale that you remember? You have a gas station and you have the grocery store.
Well, the school,
Yes. Orangevale.
the Orangevale School. Now, when I came here, that was the time the Orangevale School, they did away with it because it was a tall, the old Orangevale School was a tall, terrible looking thing. And I know you had to go upstairs, and I didn't go there very long because that was when we moved here. And so anyway, that was a horrible looking building, and I was glad to get rid of it. And I don't know what year that was, probably when I didn't go to the old school, but I went to the new school, and then the next year was the year that we built a brand new school. And and portions, of course, still exist today at that school. And that's where I went, and that's where I graduated from. And you see my picture, our picture is by that school. And so
Is that the picture in the book?
that's in this book here,
Yes.
this Orangevale book, yeah.
Wonderful. Is there anything else you want to share about your childhood? Is there anything else you want to share about your childhood growing up here? Do you have impressions of Orangevale?
Well, it was a wonderful place. The thing is, when we came to California, we lived back in Missouri, and the thing is, as I've said before, the climate was very cold, especially in the wintertime, and I had to wear long stockings. And we lived out on a farm. And I also, we had to go through a pasture and wooded areas and everything else. And so to go to school every morning, my mother put me in a dress. And then I had to, of course, I always had to have these long stockings that went on forever and ever. And I complained to my mother forever and ever. But anyway, that was growing up. And so going to school back there, you know, you had to wear, because I went through an area where there was stock and everything, like sheep and cows and stuff. And it was a pasture, what they called a pasture. And I had to go through this area. And so I wore overalls over top of my dress. So I practically, you know, I got all dressed when I went to school. After I got to school, I had to get undressed and dressed again. And so I was so happy when we moved to Orangevale. It was so nice. I remember walking down Walnut Avenue to school and thinking, and some of the neighbors were complaining, oh, it's so cold today, it's this and it's that. And I said, and I'm thinking by myself, gee, you shouldn't say things like that. It's a beautiful day. At least I can come to school and I don't have to wear a jacket or whatever, or worry about it's going to be raining by the time I come home. So anyway, that was one of the best remembrances I have of Orangevale, is being able to not have to wear long stockings.
How did you get to San Juan High School?
Oh, well, when I graduated from Orangevale, which was in, well, let's see, 36, 37, 38, I graduated in grammar school. And then I went to San Juan right after that as a freshman. And I graduated from San Juan. I think that was in 39, I don't know. I graduated from San Juan. Like I said, Gloria and I both graduated together from San Juan.
What,
Was there a bus?
I think it's 1939, I don't know.
did you take a bus?
What?
Did you ride a bus? How did you get to school?
Oh, yeah, we had it,
A school
And
bus?
Mr. Zerflew was the driver.
What was his name?
Zurflouh. And he was the driver of the school bus that took us down Greenback Lane to San Juan. And so,
Do you remember the women in white, the nurses in Orangevale?
the Zurfleugh girl, one of the Zurfleugh girls was a nurse. I don't know. I didn't know any of the nurses. I just know she, with the girl there, she was a nurse. She belonged to the family because the girl, the younger girl, was about my age. Was only, I think, a couple of years younger than me, and I know her sister was a nurse. And she was a nurse in this area. She worked at different places. And she was married to the Tomich, I think, fellow.
To one of the Tomiches?
Yeah, Nick.
Oh, okay.
I think she was married to Nick Tomich.
Do you know anything about the hospital that's in Orangevale? On Filbert?
The hospital?
Yeah, was a house converted into a hospital? No?
No,
Okay.
I don't know. I never heard of that.
Okay, how about the train that went through Orangevale?
What?
The train? There was a railroad train that went through Orangevale.
I don't know anything about that.
Okay.
I don't.
Sounds like it was mostly horse and buggy from,
Huh?
it was horse and buggy from your account, or horse and wagon, with the, when they were working with the fruit.
Well, yes, I worked in the fruit, like I said before. I cut peaches, I cut pears, and I packed plums and hauled almonds. There, at one time when I was a kid growing up, I know I always thought one of the beautiful spots, I think, in Orangevale was at the corner of Walnut Avenue and Oak Avenue. There was a huge, big, and there's a picture of it in here. There was a big almond orchard there, and in the fall, you would see people were out there. They have to put down sheets, what they call sheets, which is canvas, and knock the fruit off of the limbs, and the fruit came down, and in hulls. And I also worked in that. I did the hulled almonds as a kid. I got 2 cents a pound for hulling them. So anyway.
For hulling almonds. So how did they get, you said they knocked the trees with sticks or, yeah?
Well, they weren't sticks, but they were considered, I mean, almond sticks, I guess. Anyway, they had special, and they had, I don't know, it looked like to me, I really don't know, it looked like they had something on the end of the stick that was, I guess, I don't really know, I shouldn't say.
A grabber?
Yeah, could be. Yeah, it knocks them. And I know they were supposed to only hit the limb in certain areas, and that's where they got the fruit to come down. But that's about all I could say.
So when you said you got 2 cents a pound for hulling the almonds, was that before they were hulled or after they were hulled?
Before.
Oh, well, that's
I'm doing the work.
good. Good. Did you have to pick them up and then carry them, or were they?
No, they, and of course, they were always coming due in months like July and August, when it's the hottest there is here. And, you sit and that fuzz, you have to deal with that. And you do it. But I don't know, you do it.
Do you have any other thoughts you'd like to share with us?
Well, I don't know. I guess I should mention something that I always liked. Orangevale in the spring and early summer was always a beautiful place. I mean, you could drive down Greenback Lane and you could see trees and trees and trees, and they were all with blossoms, and it was beautiful. And they even had pictures, they took pictures, and they appeared in the newspapers. I know in the Sacramento Bee always had a portion every spring about the beautiful blooms that they had out in Orangevale. So that was nice.
I bet it smelled good too.
Huh?
Did it smell good?
Yeah, I guess. I know I wasn't too much into that because perfumes kind of bother me.
Ah, okay.
So, but it was pretty here. And I think, of course, I think all of Orangevale was a beautiful spot. I fell in love with it many years ago, and I've always liked Orangevale. And I think it's, they have beautiful trees here, and so, and of course back then I knew just about everybody, and that was another thing. The people of Orangevale, they were an area where the people seemed to be friendly with one another. You'd go to something that was happening at the school, and you'd see different friends or neighbors there, and it seemed like everybody was friendly, shaking hands or saying, "How are you doing?" with one another. So it was a nice life. We've never had it since, and probably will never have it again.
I think we're too big.
What powwow days?
Do you remember powwow days?
What?
The powwow days, the parade, and
Yeah, we haven't been too active in region affairs. I don't know, we just got old. And we were active when our kids were in school, because our kids, we had 3 boys, and they were all at one time or another in the band in the from the school. So as a result, we were active there, and and like at Christmas time, it was always kind of a problem trying to make it to all of the affairs. You know, with 3 kids, you have to decide, well, which way do we go to? Because they're all in the same, school.
are there, does anybody else have a question they might want to ask? Chris?
No, I don't think so. Not right now, anyway.
What were the road conditions like?
What were the roads like, Mrs. Effinger? What were the roads like? Were they dirt? Were they gravel?
Our school rooms,
Yeah, all the roads.
they
Roads.
you mean our school rooms or house
No,
rooms?
the roads, the streets. What were they
the
like?
streets.
Were they
The streets
paved or?
Yeah, they were very much the same as they are today. Yeah. Yeah.
Who were some of the people you went to school with?
Huh?
Who are some of the people you went to school with?
The people that went to school, what?
The people you went to school with.
Oh, you want to know who they were? Well, I know you took it. Well, Jean Kelly, all the Jeans. Jean is quite a bit younger than me, and and Pat Zanetta, and she's also younger. Everybody's younger, and but Pat was married to Fred Zanetta, and of course he was. His sister and I were very good friends, and because she and we shared the same birth month, and that goes on through years after we graduated from school and everything.
Did
What
you?
did you say? Huh?
Anybody else? Who you graduate with?
Well, I graduated with Gloria, and who?
Tom? Did you go to school with Tom Tomich?
I went to school with who?
Tom Tomich, was he in
Oh,
your
yeah,
class?
Tom Tomich, yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, Tom, he was a year ahead of me in school. And Tom, is, of course, was a very good friend of Pat Zanetta's husband. So,
And do you remember Fred Tomich?
yeah, Fred Zanetta, I'm sorry, not Fred Tomich.
No,
It was Tom Tomich.
Right, but I'm asking if you remember Fred Tomich.
Yes, I knew him too.
Was he younger? I think he was.
He was older than me.
Okay.
Yeah, because Tom was my age. Well, Tom was a year ahead of me in school, and Fred was probably a couple of years ahead of me.
Anybody else that you can think of you graduated with?
Well, some of your relatives.
Maybe my mother. Did you graduate with Rose Vincent?
What?
Did you graduate with Rose Vincent? Rose Marie Vincent?
Yeah, I didn't graduate. I think I was younger than her. I think she was older than me, yeah. Was me. And of course,
Pat, Patricia, Vincent. Did you know Patricia Vincent?
Yeah, Patricia Vincent.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Chris's family. Okay. All right, is there anything else you'd like to share with us?
Well, I don't know. I think I've talked a lot.
Okay. Well, we'd love to come back and hear about your grown-up life, your adult life sometime. If that would be all right, we would like that. But I think maybe then we're done. Thank you so much. This is wonderful. We really appreciate this information. Because every
Well, I
time,
think it's nice you're having a thing about Orangevale, and so that's wonderful. And about the Calder House, I wish they'd make it into a restaurant. I think it's a beautiful place, you
it
know.
is.
And with a little money could be made into a beautiful restaurant, but evidently not.
No, it's a church right now.
Huh?
It's a church.
It is a church
Yes.
now?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know what it was.
Yes.
It was a
There for a
restaurant for
while.
a while.
Different restaurants, many different restaurants.
It's what?
Yes. The Calder House was a restaurant for quite a while. There were different
Right,
ones.
uh-huh.
Yes.
And I was hoping it would stay that way,
Yeah.
because it's a beautiful spot,
It
I
is. It is.
think. And beautiful place. Could be made into a really nice, I mean, of course, I guess they're kind of short on land, but for a parking lot, but for one thing, I don't know.
Did you go into the Calder house when you were a young girl?
Yeah.
Oh,
Can you tell us about
yeah.
that?
Could you tell us about going to the Calder House?
Yeah. Gloria and I we were out playing, and anyway, we met up with a girl. Gloria knew her better than I did, the girl, and I think her name was Elizabeth, as I remember. That's kind of easy to remember, and so we met up with her because we were playing on Pecan Avenue, and I think in roller skates, and we crossed Greenback Lane and went over to that side of the street and met up with this girl who at that time, she and her family lived there. And I don't know, she brought up, would you like to see the round room? And of course me, all eyes, you know, I said, oh yes. So she took us up and showed us the round room. So that was a really exciting time.
I bet.
Yeah, because we never, well, me coming from back east, you know, the Hicks back east, and never being out here able to see anything like that, it was something. So anyway, we went up to see it, so it was great. I don't know, her family, I guess, moved away from there, and I never saw her again, so. But Gloria, my girlfriend, she knew a lot of the people around here in Orangevale much better than I did, or that I got to know. The reason being that her mother had lived here in Orangevale. And you probably got it in Jean Kelly's interview that her mother, I mean, that would be her grandmother, lived here, the Johnson family. So I don't know, they were more familiar with, Gloria was more familiar with the people of Orangevale, but I learned a lot from her.
Okay. Well, I think that's a wrap then, as they say. We would love to, as I said, we'd love to come back and talk to you some more some other time if that's all right with you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, you've been very nice. So.